Now, most times you're not going to want your query to actually return back every single record that you have for a model. So today we're going to take a look at how we can limit those records. So let's take this back a little bit to where we would get back to results. So let's give what we have here a save and jump back into Insomnia, send this off. And you can see our find many is returning back both JavaScript and TypeScript at this point. If we wanted to limit this to just the first matching result, what we can do is call just first here. So let's give that a save. And now JavaScript comes first in our array. So we're going to get that back as our result. An additional thing to note here is that we're no longer getting back an array as our response. Instead, we're just getting back the model itself because we're expecting just that single result. Now, if we switch this to, let's add an additional where ID, and let's use an ID that doesn't exist. So let's do 3. If we run this again, since we're just using first, if it doesn't match a result, it's going to return back null. This null response matches within our type as well. So if we take a look at the type of our find many, it's going to be topic or null. If we need this query to return back a response, otherwise fail out, we can add or fail to our first method. And now if we send this off, if we don't get back a response, we're going to get back a row not found 404 error. So in addition to just using first or fail, if you need to limit your results, but not necessarily to just the first record, there's also a limit method. This limit method allows you to specify any number that you need, and then it will cut it off at that response number. So for example, we have 2 results here. If we cut it off at 1 and we get rid of our ID there and we run this again, we're going to get back just that 1 result. If we switch this to 2, let's get rid of our where statement there. Now we're just limiting it to 2 as a whole, send this off. Now we're getting back just 2, but instead of limiting it to just those with script, we're now also getting back AdonisJS. So TypeScript is getting cut off from our response, which then allows us to set this to 3, which would then return back all 3. Now, in most cases, if you're going to limit your results, you probably also want to sort your results as well. We could do that easily by chaining off of our query builder order by. First argument is going to be the column. So let's order by the name. And then the second argument is optional, but it's going to be the direction. So it can either be ascending or descending. Let's leave it off for now. And we'll see that it will default to doing ascending. So we get back our results in alphabetical order, which just happens to match the default sort. But if we switch this to descending, you'll see that the order is then flipped. So we get TypeScript, JavaScript, and then Adonis. And now if we limit it to 2, instead of TypeScript being cut off, AdonisJS will now be cut off. You can also order by something like a date time. So let's do created at here, descending. And now the results here will just happen to match what we had previously because that's the order that we inserted them in. Let's go ahead and get rid of our limit so that we can take a look at all 3. And you'll see that the created at is indeed, we created these all on the 28th, but the time here is 11:28 for that one, 11:23 for that one, and 11:21 for this one. So it's ordering them from newest to oldest whenever we do descending there. If we switch this to ascending, send this off, you'll see that it's now doing oldest to newest. Now, in addition to first and limiting, you can also limit your orders via pagination. And to help you out with that, there is a pagination helper. For that, we can do .paginate, specify the current page number that we're on. So this would be 1 since we don't have any pages currently. Specify the number that we want per page. Let's say 2 so that we actually have 2 pages to paginate here. And let's send that out. So it's going to order them by the created at date in ascending order, and then it's going to paginate them. It will get back the first page of results, and it will limit the results to 2. In addition to that, whenever we send this off, you'll see that it also comes with a number of different properties that help us with the actual pagination rendering whenever it comes time to do that. So we get back meta information containing the total per page, current page, last page, first page, as well as the URLs for this. Then we have our data array, which contains the actual response data for the page. If we come back into our paginate method, switch this to page 2, give this a save. Where we have AdonisJS and JavaScript, we should now expect to just see TypeScript. And you'll see our meta information updates to reflect that we're now on page 2, and our data is now reflected to just the second page of data. Now, if we were actually going to render out the meta information here, this first page URL and last page URL, you can see is going / with a query string of page and then the number for the actual page action. We can alter what this page is by doing find many dot, and then we can set the base URL for the paginated records by specifying that URL in. So for example, we could do /topics, give this a save, run this again, and now you can see our first page URL is /topics with the query string of the applicable page. So that's updated accordingly. If you happen to have a route defined, in our case, we have topics.index here that we can use. We can go ahead and specify that route using the route module. So we can do route.makeURL and then specify topics.index there, and it will use that accordingly. Give this a send, and we get back the exact same result.